Good evening. Get right here as you are way to listen to a number of issues concerning, of course, the local council elections that have taken us about 15 years since we last held such an election. How important is it? But we'll also be getting your feedback, and that will be on social media. The hashtag to follow up on that is LC Elections UG. You will also have a chance to call in on our toll-free lines. We will be giving those to you at a much later stage. We're live on NBS Television. We're live on NBS TV. We're live on Salt, BBS, Terefina, KTV, Bukede, UBC, and 10 other sister radio stations of UBC Television. So you can be able to watch this discussion all throughout. My name is Mildred Tuhaisen, of course, with my colleague
Charles Mwango-Shampagi, and we're also live on NTV, and we bring this to you on TV and on radio and on social media, interviewing the chairman of the Electoral Commission on the lower local council elections. They actually started yesterday, and the process is going on. We will be picking up what exactly is going on, the controversies that have followed this round of elections, the cycle of elections. As Mildred said, 15 years without these elections. They've involved legal changes that have been resolved after some time. The chairman will be speaking to those. And could we come to the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Byabakama Mugenyi. It's a pleasure to have you this evening.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Mildred.
You're welcome.
Right. Good evening, viewers, fellow Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen. I greet you all and wish to congratulate you on the occasion of conducting the first nationwide administrative units, that is village and parish level, and women councils and committees elections since 2001. So it's actually 17 years since we last held these elections. Tonight, the Electoral Commission would like to update you on the progress of this electoral program. But first of all, allow me to emphasize the significance of these grassroots elections to our country. One, the village local council is the first government structure in Uganda, and therefore it is important for purposes of exercising constitutional rights of self-governance. Some of our national leaders started out as members of LC1 executive committees. Secondly, local councils are a critical platform that enables citizens to raise issues of concern that can be escalated to higher government structures and in the process influence public policy and law. Thirdly, local councils play a very important role in identifying residents and documenting their details, which ensure security at the grassroots level. Their vetting role, therefore, helps public and private agencies verify the identity of persons and minimize the risk of fraud in employment and other transactions. Furthermore, the LOCs play an important role in coordinating. They play an important coordinating role that supports both public and private sectors in delivery of their mandate. Development programs in the areas of education, health, environmental management, agriculture, and security cannot be effectively undertaken without this grassroots support. The LOCs are also courts with judicial powers that can hear and determine the civil matters within their areas of jurisdiction. They help communities resolve conflicts and maintain law and order in their villages. They are therefore a critical support to the justice, law and order sector in Uganda. We therefore wish to call upon all Ugandans to attach great importance to these elections and participate in the activities, either as voters or as candidates. Presently, we have 60,800 villages throughout Uganda, and therefore each village is a polling station. The program has been ongoing. Yesterday was the first leg of the final episode, and that is polling in the women councils and committees, which took place yesterday throughout the country in all the villages. On the 10th, today, we had nominations for LC1 chairpersons, which will go on until tomorrow. So 2 days for nominations for chairperson LC1. Then on the 10th of this month, we expect to have polling or voting of LC1 chairpersons. Thereafter, we shall have polling for the chairperson LC2 or at parish level. I wish to appeal to all Ugandans to embrace this program. We are not talking about ordinary elections. These are elections that affect us at grassroots level, and they are very, very fundamental to our day-to-day existence and activities. I thank you.
All right, well, Chairman, probably just before we can move forward, I know the Uganda audience would like to get bits of your information.
Abatuuliriza abassebo ne bannyabo, okusooka njagala okubeebaza olw'enkolagana ye mubadde naffe ng'abakakiiko k'ebyokulonda mu puroguramu ze tuba tutaddewo mu bitundu eby'eggwanga lino kulaba nga tutangaaza puroguramu y'okulonda. Naddala puroguramu eriwo kati okulonda, enteekateeka eriwo kati ey'okulonda kw'obukiiko obw'omubyalo. Puroguramu eno nkulu nnyo, tusaba Bannayuganda bonna bagijumbire, bagyenyigiremu, bagisagike mu mberi yonna ng'abalonzi, nga abakandidate oba beesimbyewo. Nga bwe mumanyi nti okwetaba mu kulonda kuno oteeka okubeera mutuuze mu kyalo ky'obeeramu, oteeka okubeera Munnayuganda ng'olina emyaka 18 n'okweyongera waggulu, ate olina okwesalirawo nti oyagala okwenyigira mu kulonda kuno. Puroguramu twagitandika emabegako. Olunaku lwajjo twabadde ne puroguramu esooka y'okulonda obukiiko bw'abakyala. Puroguramu yatambudde bulungi, era olwaleero twabadde okwewandiisa abo bonna abagenda okwesimbawo nga ba chairpersons ba LC1 oba LC1. Nolwekyo puroguramu etambula bulungi ate ekomekerezebwa enkya, naye ng'ennaku 10 olwokubiri wiiki ejja we tugenda okufundikira puroguramu eno n'okulonda mu byalo emitwalo 68 ebiri mu Uganda kati. Mwebale nnyo.
All right, and now, Chairman, you've let us in on the importance of the LC elections, of course, but one would ask, how prepared are you as the electoral body? It could be financially, logistically, and in every aspect.
We are adequately prepared. First of all, the preparations started by requiring all residents to register in the respective villages in what we call the village register. And I want to make one clarification. The village register is different from the national voters register, which is used in the secret. So if you appear on the national voters register but not on the village register, you will not be eligible to contest or to participate as a voter in these elections. The period for that process has already expired. Now, today was a different process. So we are adequately prepared. We have deployed our election officers in all the areas in the country, the 60,000. They are the ones who have been carrying out registration of residents. They have been the ones who have been carrying out the display of registers. So we are adequately prepared.
Mr. Chairman, looking at this election, like you described it at the beginning, it is the biggest election that the Electoral Commission has to handle. There is a lot of controversy that's come about the mode of voting, lining up. The Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy in Uganda issued a report indicating that this mode of elections is problematic. The European Union has questioned this mode of election, and yesterday, when you held the Women Council elections, there were areas where there were significant problems. You say it was smooth, but there were areas where there were significant problems. Do you think that this serves the cause of democracy, especially at the most important level? How does it?
Well, we have had those concerns expressed by the various stakeholders. But let me say this. Every election has a challenge. It has a problem, has challenges. And secondly, from what we saw yesterday, some of these areas which happened or managed to get to our TV screens or our telephones on WhatsApp and so on, they were excited groups of women who are eager to participate in these elections. Secondly, even in an election by secret ballot, there are always challenges. You have heard about them. You have been reporting about them. The European Union and all these observer groups always make reports about the challenges that they come across in these areas. Now, some people are trying to make a case out of what low voter turnout yesterday as an indication that, look, people have been kept away, people have not embraced these elections on account of the methodology. But even in an election by secret ballot, you are lucky if you get a 50% voter turnout. We have been conducting by elections in the country, which are by secret ballot. On average, 50% is the highest number. Are you trying to say that people are kept away because of the methodology of a secret ballot?
Mr. Chairman,
it's a question of interest.
So someone would argue and say that this being the most important election and being at the lowest level possible, you would have better turnout because of what you just outlined to us. Critical platform for citizens to raise issues of concern to them, the first government structure, which is important to Ugandans, important in coordinating and supporting government programs. This is where the nation's attention should primarily be. So do you think that the problem, the challenges that you're facing, some of them, are rooted in the structure of how you have organized these elections and the law that's permitted you to hold them, different from the other elections that we hold by secret ballot?
I have said, going by the trend of voter turnout in the elections in this country, it will be too rash to conclude that it's because of the methodology that has disenabled or discouraged voters from turning up in the required numbers, given the importance of these elections to the well-being and to the lives of the people of Uganda. Remember, even the law recognized that. The makers of this law recognized that. And that's why they included in the law that this is a process of those who are willing to participate.
Okay.
Who are willing to participate, either as a voter or as a candidate. So democracy is about free will, free choice. It's not a coercive process. It is a voluntary process. If I want to come and vote, fine. If I don't want to come and vote, no problem. It's not like paying a taxi, which is coercive. But democracy and choosing leaders choosing leaders is a question of one's choice. So some people chose not to participate. But given the trend of elections in this country, I don't want to say or to conclude that is because of the methodology which discouraged people.
Chairman, still on the organization, the Citizen Coalition on Electoral Democracy did report that the voter education that was scheduled to take place between about 7 and 10 before the elections in some areas actually did not take place. Could that as well be attributed to the turn-up and the kind of election that was held yesterday?
Well, I've not heard those reports at all. CEDU has not yet made such reports to us. But let me say this. We have been carrying out sensitization programs in the areas on radio and so on. We have our field personnel who have been carrying out these programs. I believe we have sensitized the people adequately. It may not have been at the required level, but we have endeavored to make sure that people are sensitized about this. So on the whole, I want to say that in some areas you had massive voter turnout, isn't it? You did that. So again, it's a question of choice. And in other areas, you didn't have that. So you cannot say really that there was uniformity in the voter turnout. No, you cannot say that.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Chairman, with the amount of voter education? I'm conscious about this because I know there's a difference between civic education, which is not your mandate, and voter education, which is your mandate, particularly in regards to these very important elections.
No, I must concede that we have challenges in the conduct of sufficient voter education due to logistical constraints. But we endeavor within the available means to make sure that a program that is rolled out is not rolled out for the Electoral Commission alone. Because remember that the success of an electoral process cannot be achieved by the role of the Electoral Commission alone. We need the participation of all the Ugandans, we need all the participation of the stakeholders, and from what we have been gathering on the radio talk shows we have been conducting across the country, the questions that have been coming in indicate that people are aware, or that they need to be informed about some of these nitty-gritty as to the actual program. But on voter education, that one I agree, we are not doing very well.
Are you getting the support that you need from the various stakeholders? Because the last time we held these elections, it was under a kind of unitary movement system. Now we're having them under a multi-party system. Are the political parties on board? Are the other stakeholders that you're asking, are they on board helping you to make sure that these elections are smooth?
They are. Going by what we've been reading from the press, the political parties were very anxious to have these elections conducted. They have identified their flag bearers. I think if you went to some of these polling stations, you must have seen flag bearers of the various political parties that were interested. So the political parties have embraced this program. They have been working with us. We have been coordinating. We have been consulting with them on whatever is taking place. And I think they are on board because this is a multi-party dispensation, as you have said.
You mentioned that questions have come in from the public severally, but you can clearly see that there is some clarity that's needed. And part of that, and in some of the areas where the chaos was yesterday, was on the aspect of the register. And you had insinuated in one of your media interviews that you needed to have two registers, and most especially the general one, which will have the LC1 elections, and then the women's register, which was separate, that was meant to be used yesterday. Do you think that played out well?
Well, yesterday the register that was at play was the register for women in the village. Of course, the problem is that some of our people, when we roll out this program for specific activities, they do not participate. For instance, after registration, there is a period we set out for what we call display of the register. For one to come and confirm that, yes, I'm registered, I appear in this register. And secondly, if Mildred is not a non-resident in the village, you point it out to the election officers that this person is not a resident. But some people don't participate, and that's why probably yesterday you had instances where people were saying, this is not a resident. What is he or she doing here? But these are matters that should have been sorted out during the display period. And secondly, I observed on TV that actually some of the men were even disrupting these processes. The indiscipline in this country is also another factor we have to deal with. What was a man doing in elections of women? That was also another factor, you see. But fortunately, we called in the security. They came in and they were able to contain some of these situations.
Have you been able to find answers for why men were interfering in that election?
You tell me.
Because the women are not only going to lead fellow women, one would think that they are also going to be leaders for men.
They showed some men holding sticks. I understand they were herding their women to go and vote for candidates of their choice. Some of these things are just aspects of indiscipline on our part. If we want a clean electoral process, a democratic process, credible elections, we must all play our role. Yesterday was elections for women. Why were men getting involved? For what? You wait for men, you wait for your day on 10th when both you and the women are going to participate with LC chairpersons.
Mr. Chairman, you're in charge of the electoral process. You're the president at that time. So have you filed any complaints against some of those who interfered with the process?
Well, we are waiting for reports from the field, from our people, to see what action they took. The police were called in. We want to find out what action they have taken, because one of the things this commission abhors and discourages strongly is any activity aimed at disrupting an electoral process in any part of the country. Okay. We deal with offenders' family.
Okay, we need to try and move on faster. You said that you've started nominations today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
These are for local council one.
Yeah.
Which exact positions are these?
Chairperson LC1.
Chairperson LC1.
In the 60,800 villages.
Okay. And this process is running until tomorrow? Through tomorrow.
And maybe on the election date, what more other activities are we expecting? Do we expect to just come and line up behind the candidate of our choice, and after that we get to know who has taken up the day and that's it? What exactly do we expect to happen on the 10th?
On the 10th, the voters or residents are expected to assemble at the polling stations, which is the village. Secondly, there is a verification of voters. Are you on this register or not? If you are not on the register, bye-bye. You have no business participating in this process.
Even when I'm a known resident of the
yes, you are not on the register. You exercise your choice not to get registered. So you can only come maybe to watch what others are doing. Then we should also have some slight voter sensitization, just to tell them what is going to take place at that station during this process. And we believe that this should take place between 7 a.m. up to about 11.